Hello everyone. Today we are here at the Toyota HIlux Off Road Boot Camp organized by Epic Toyota and the Open Escapes team, taking place at Brio Plaza in Tiruvallur, Chennai. This off road event is designed to showcase the extreme capabilities of the Toyota HIlux, and trust me, it's impressive how this machine handles no matter the terrain. Let's start with a bit of background of about the Toyota HIlux. The HIlux stands for High on Luxury, and this beast is built on the same platform as the Toyota Fortuner. The vehicle being tested today is the automatic variant powered by a 2.8 liter 4 cylinder turbo diesel engine producing 204 horsepower at 3000 to 3400 rpm and 500 newton meters of torque between 1600 to 2800 rpm. In fact, the Hilux is above about length 5325 mm, which is said to be longer than the Mercedes-Benz S-Class in terms of length. The width of this vehicle is around 1855 mm and the height of the vehicle is of about 1815 mm. Talking about the weight of the vehicle, the curb weight of this vehicle is 1860 kg, the gross vehicle weight is of about 2910 kg, and the payload capacity is of about 470 kg. The approach angle stands at 29 degrees while the departure angle is around 26 degrees, giving it great clearance for tackling rugged paths. Now let us move on with the video to look at the off-road challenges that is going to be faced by the Toyota HIlux today. So the first test at the Toyota HIlux Off-Road Camp is the chicken hole test. Now you can see the Toyota HIlux at this particular off-road event is entering into the chicken hole test. So this particular test is done in order to test the suspension articulation and stability of the vehicle, where each wheel goes into alternating dips. The Hilux passes through these holes without breaking a sweat. During this particular test, the off-roading gear is set to L4 in order to receive the maximum torque from the engine to all the four wheels in order to climb in and climb out of all these holes, and to also climb in and climb out of all the terrains which is kept in front after the chicken hole test in this particular Toyota off-road camp over here. And now you're looking at the interior view of this particular chicken hole test. After the chicken hole test, next up we have the 10-foot climb in and 10-foot climb out. A short but steep incline where the DAC control, downhill assist control, is activated in order to actually climb in smoothly during this particular trench. And also the hill start assist is activated during the 10 feet climb out of this particular trench. You can see the vehicle doesn't climb backwards the moment the vehicle try to climbs in front. What I actually mean is that even though you leave the brake pedal from the vehicle during the climb up of slope, the vehicle will actually stand still because this particular vehicle is equipped with hill assist control. Now next up ahead, after the 10 feet climb in and 10 feet climb out trench, you have the 10 foot climb up tabletop and trench terrain, and you're going to see that the vehicle is going to actually slide over the 25-foot drop terrain where the hill descent assist control and the downhill assist control are activated in order to actually pass through this particular situation. So the driver or the person who's actually controlling this particular vehicle must actually press the brake and the accelerator for this particular test, and also he must have to control the steering. The rest of the things is taken care by the electronics. And the moment what I felt during this particular tabletop entrance terrain is that while the vehicle was actually climbing up 10 feet, I could only see the sky after the bonnet. And the moment the vehicle was coming down to this particular terrain, I could actually only see the ground where the the moment was actually the vehicle was actually climbing down. The feeling what I had was that the vehicle is going to actually crash over that particular surface. But luckily, the vehicle could actually finish up this particular situation easily without hitting the ground. Now you can only see the sky at the top the moment the vehicle was climbing up, and similarly, the moment when the vehicle is actually going to roll over, you can actually feel the experience that it is moving in such a way that the vehicle is going to really hit the ground. But actually, with the ground clearance of 220 you can actually confidently drive this particular vehicle like any type of this particular tabletop entrance terrain effortlessly and easily. Only thing you have to control the steering and the accelerator and brake efficiently for all these particular terrains. After the tabletop entrance terrain, the vehicle is now going to undergo the left C climb terrain where the vehicle is going to get inclined completely towards one side, that is towards the left side. So here the vehicle is tilted sideways at an extreme angle. Despite the incline, the Hilux remains completely stable and balanced, a true testament to its robust ladder frame chassis. Speaking of safety and structure, the Hilux is equipped with 7 airbags, ABS with EBD, electronic stability control ESC, hill start assist, downhill assist control, and even isofix child seat mounts are provided in this particular vehicle. It's not just tough, it's safe and family ready. This particular vehicle is also selected for our military purpose for our Indian defense system. And now you're going to see the Toyota Hilux is going to undergo the off-road camber test, where the vehicle is pushed to its limits across uneven terrains. This test is all about evaluating balance, traction, and chassis integrity under sideways tilt. This is where the electronic differential lock shines, distributing torque effectively when one or more wheels lose traction. So now you can see the frontwards footage of the vehicle which is undergoing the off-road camber test, and you can see how the vehicle is actually performing this particular terrain effortlessly, even though the vehicle is pushed to uneven terrain where minimum one wheel is actually in the air without any support and the 3 tires are going to be on the ground. And now at the end you're going to see the right side front tire is going to be on the air and the 3 tires are going to be at the ground. So you can see how the vehicle is stable enough despite of its weight. After the off-road Camber Wall test, now you are going to see the vehicle is actually going to undergo the Articulation Pit test. So you can see that there are actually terrain or there are actually sand which is dug 1 feet to 2 feet depth in order to test the suspension of this particular vehicle. So the suspension is actually truly tested in this particular articulation pit. And now you can see that the traction control system ensures the vehicle to safely crawl through all these challenging ridges without slipping or losing control. And as you can see, the vehicle is completely loaded with passengers of about 5 members. So the seating capacity of this particular vehicle is 5, and the vehicle is actually now tested with 5 members on mode. Now you can see the rear view of the vehicle where it is actually crawling through all these articulation pit. The vehicle is actually in stock condition. There is no modification done for this particular off-road terrain, or there are no off-road tires installed for this particular off-road test. It is actually kept in stock condition. Other normal cars, you actually get reverse parking cameras with the reverse parking sensors. And now you're going to look at the interior view of this particular articulation pit test. Now you can see that the Toyota Hilux is going to undergo the slush test. So the Hilux actually easily crosses through deep slushy water, and thanks to its 700 water wading capacity, it remains composed even as water rises close to the doors. And you can see that the ground clearance is about 220 by which the water whichever is kept at the slush pit would not enter into the cabin very easily. Now the vehicle is going to undergo the rubble strip terrain. So what does the rubble strip terrain mean is that there are actually broken bricks and broken rocks scattered throughout, and you're going to see that how this particular vehicle is able to actually cross over all these broken bricks and broken rocks. Talking about the suspension type of the vehicle, it is said to be of double wishbone, and also the turning radius of this particular vehicle is of about 6.4 meter, and you get actually ventilated disc brakes at the front, and you actually get drum brakes at the rear. Talking about the tire size, the Toyota Hilux typically uses 265 65 R17 inch or 265 60 R18 tires. So this particular off-road vehicle, as you can see now, is actually running on the 265 60 R18 size tires. After the rubble strip terrain, the vehicle is going to undergo the log crossing test, where you can actually see tree logs which are actually kept in front of the vehicle or which are kept in the ground in order for the vehicle to cross over. You can see that how the double wishbone suspension works in place while crossing through all these tree logs. So during this off-road test it is essential to drive the car with the slow speed, and also it is essential to keep the gear at the L4 mode in order to get the maximum torque. And if your vehicle is an automatic transmission, it is better to shift it to the manual mode in order to prevent the gear to shift by its own. So now the vehicle is going to undergo the slush test too. So before, in that particular slush test, the water was in an adequate level in order the water to not enter into the vehicle, but in this particular slush pit test the vehicle is actually going to cross the slush where the water actually enters through the four doors of the vehicle, and no matter the water touches the four doors of the vehicle, you can't even actually feel or you cannot actually see a drop of water in the mat of this particular vehicle. What I am trying to mean is that there are actually no water or there are actually no water droplets entered into the vehicle during this particular slush test. And now here is a quick log crossing.
இந்த மாதிரி மரத்தை
ஓகே
கீழே எங்கே விழுந்த நேச்சுரலாக விழுந்த மரத்தை கட் பண்ணி நான் போட்டிருக்கேன்.
ஓகே
வாட்டர் வந்து டோருக்கு கொஞ்சம் மேலே வரைக்கும் இருக்கும்.
ஓகே
சரி, அப்போ பார்த்தா கூட கேபின்குள்ளே தனியாக வரல.
ஓகே ஓகே ஸோ இதுக்கு ஏதாவது ஸ்பெசிஃபிக் டயர்ஸ்? After the slush test 2, we are actually going to undergo the right sea climb terrain where the vehicle is going to get completely inclined towards the right side completely. So this particular test I couldn't actually capture the exterior view as I have reached the boot camp at 2 p.m. So this particular vehicle was in this off-road camp from 10 a.m. So and after 2 p.m. they didn't take the vehicle to the right sea climb terrain. They had actually completed by the slush test 2, and so I was lucky enough in order to get the chance to sit behind the wheel during the right sea climb terrain and the 15 feet climb terrain too. So now you can see the vehicle is going to undergo the 15 feet climb where you can actually see that the hill assist control is actually working perfectly. And during the 15 feet climb terrain I can only see the sky, and the moment the vehicle is going to drop off about 20 to 25 feet drop, sitting in the passenger side seat of the vehicle after the bonnet I could only see the sand, and the vehicle with respect to my view could actually cross through all these terrain effortlessly, and I was actually really comfortable seated behind the wheel. And the person who drove this particular vehicle when I was seated at the passenger seat was from Open Escape team, and they are actually conducting all these kinds of off-roading event with bigger car companies, which could actually perform all these 4x4 terrains effortlessly and easily. And this particular driver, or the person who drove this particular vehicle, was really confident tackling all these terrains, and he is having a lot of experience in driving these vehicles in these types of terrain. Now we are looking at the Boulder Pit, where the vehicle has to cross over the special type of rocks known as the quarry type rocks. And seated behind the wheel, I couldn't find any struggle or any discomfort when the vehicle was undergoing the Boulder Pit. And now here again, the vehicle is going to climb 15 feet steep type of mountain, where I could only see the sky. And again, the moment the vehicle has to drop 20 feet drop, where only the ground could be seen, where the moment the vehicle was actually touching the ground, I felt that the vehicle is actually going to crash on the ground. But luckily, whatever the feeling which I had inside didn't happen. The only thing, the vehicle was actually really confident climbing up and climbing down all these types of mountain. Overall, it was a great experience for me in order to attend this type of off-roading event.